Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Gaura Haribo, Gaura Premanandi, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Very good. You are very good singers, all of you. Very wonderful. Okay, let's read something from the Isopanisad. Wonderful. Do you know this book? Amazing book. I read this book, and by reading it, I was convinced Krishna is the supreme absolute truth. Real. This book is amazing. Okay, I'm going to read from Mantra 7. Read the Sanskrit. Yasmin sarvani bhutani atmaiva bhut bijanataha tatra ko mohaka shoka ekatvam anupashyataha. One who always sees all living entities as spiritual sparks, in quality one with the Lord, becomes a true knower of things. What is there as illusion or anxiety for him? One who sees all living entities as spiritual sparks. Like the matrix, you see only the light, the things as they really are. So we are all spirit souls, we are eternal. Little spark is keeping alive this body. Either in the body of an ant or a body of a whale is the same spiritual spark. And that spiritual spark is part of the Supreme Spirit, the highest, not the spark, but the big fire. When we chant Hare Krishna, we are like a small spark dancing in the big fire. Shining, we shine. We get the light, we get the knowledge, the connection. Bhakti yoga means unity, connection, and bhakti means love or loving service. So this practice of chanting Hare Krishna is the greatest spiritual activity, actually, for human beings. So that is something from the purport by my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. Except for the two more advanced devotees described above, no one can correctly see the spiritual position of a living being. The living entities are qualitatively one with the Supreme Lord, as the sparks of the fire are qualitatively one with the nature of the fire. But sparks are not fire as far as quantity is concerned. The quantity of heat and light present in the fire is not equal to the quantity of heat and light in the sparks. The great devotee, Mahabhagavat, sees oneness in the sense that everything is the energy of the Supreme Lord. And as there is no difference between the energy and the energetic, there is the sense of oneness. Without heat and light, there is no meaning of fire. And yet, heat and light from the analytical point of view are different from fire. But in synthesis, heat, light, and fire are all the same one thing. So, how do we know that we are not these material bodies, we are a spiritual spark, spirit soul? How do we know that? There are symptoms. When you approach a fire, you will see the light and feel the heat. There's no question of separating the fire from heat and light. It's inseparable. The same way, to be alive is a symptom that there is a soul in the body, to have consciousness. What we call death is the moment when this spiritual spark leaves the body. There is no more life in the body. But what kept the body alive was that spiritual spark, not some combination of material chemicals that made life possible. That's a mental speculation. Matter cannot create life. Spirit creates life, from higher to lower, not Darwin's idea from lower to higher. But the Vedas idea is the supreme conscious living being, he created the lower living being, from higher to lower, not from lower to higher. Something which has less information cannot create something higher than itself. It's a contradiction, isn't it? A stone can't create an ant. That's impossible. So in the same way, you have to understand that higher intelligence is behind this creation, this universe. The supreme intelligence, what they call intelligent design. For example, this instrument, harmonium. Nobody will believe if I tell him that a tree exploded and landed and became an instrument like this. It's made of wood, no, mostly. Nobody will believe such a thing, isn't? Because it doesn't make sense. The same way, this idea of Big Bang, that there was explosion and all the planet came round-shaped, doesn't make sense either. I mean, for somebody intelligent, knows things doesn't make themselves. It's like giving a monkey stone, and they would throw the stone will make a bridge. Or you give a monkey a pen and a notebook, and we write a novel. So those kind of things are illogical, isn't? But they make us believe that there is nothing void. From the void came everything. From zero came everything. Once I was giving lecture in one Buddhist group, and was talking about God, and one of the persons there said, the best concept of God is zero. And I told him, you may have many zeros, have no value. But if you put one next to the zero, in front of the zero, then if you have 1 0, become 10. You have 2 0, 100, 3 0, 1,000, 6 0, 1 million. So without the one, the zeros have no value. And that one is Krishna. He's one without a second. Nobody's equal to him, nobody's superior to him. He's like a big fire, and we are the small spark. When we are close, we shine. We have a spiritual energy. But if the spark jump out of the fire, it's no more fiery anymore. Loses its light and heat. It loses. The same way, we separate ourselves from our original divine, connection with the Supreme Lord, and we came to this material world of forgetfulness, because when we come here, we forget who we are. Imagine a person having a car accident and lose all his document, and he's in the hospital, and he suffered amnesia. He doesn't know who is he, and then he's loitering the street like homeless, hungry and feeling cold. And after a few weeks, one man sees him and recognizes him. Oh, you are Robert. What are you doing here in the street like that? Your father is looking for you everywhere. Your father is a rich man, You should not be like, oh, I suffered an accident. I don't remember who I am. Oh, I know who you are. Come, I will take you to your dad, He will help you. But I can't take you in that shape, all dirty and smelly, Come to my home, take a shower, take a bath, eat nicely, dress nicely. Then I will take you to your father, So in the same way, the Guru, he teaches us like that. I want to take you to your divine father, but you are a little dirty right now. Let me help you clean up a little bit, And this cleaning process is the chanting. The chanting of Hare Krishna help us cleanse the heart from all dirty things. And what are all those dirty things? We know. Lust, greed, anger, envy, fear, jealousy, hatred, ignorance, so many bad things there. The Red Sioux, the Indian Red Sioux, they say that every person in their heart, they have a good dog and a bad dog. And they're always fighting each other. And if you want the good dog to win the fight, what do you have to do? You have to feed the good dog and starve the bad dog. Then you can be assured that the good dog will win the fight. So the good dog, my guru once said, if somebody call himself God, he's dog. The other way around. And there are some false guru around saying, I am God, no, I am Bhagavan. And they have to run to the dentist when they have a toothache. What kind of God is that? Have to run to the hospital. Nonsense, so many nonsense going on nowadays, no? Anyway, a true guru, he would never say he's God, he's a servant of God. That's the real position. So that's very important. Another example is, suppose 6 people come to your home and announced, and we need to have a very important conversation. Please come in. They sit on the sofa and talk and talk and talk and talk. You get tired, bored, and they keep talking and talking. You want them to leave, but you don't want to be impolite. What do you have to do? When the time of lunch comes, don't bring out any food. They will get hungry. Oh, there is no food. No. They will go. In the same way, we don't have to feed the bad thoughts. We have to feed the good thoughts. Meaning starving the bad thoughts means not thinking of that, not paying attention to it. So sometimes what they ask me, oh, what can I do? My mind is, thinking too much nonsense, dragging me here and there. Don't pay attention to it. Just ignore it. If a mad person talking to you, you know he's mad, you don't pay attention. He's speaking all kind of nonsense. Sometimes I go walk, the, what do you call, the World War, and sometimes I hear some crazy guy shouting in the air, speaking all kind of nonsense. Nobody pay attention. Because they know it's something wrong with his mind, So you don't pay attention. So our mind is like that crazy. So we don't have to pay attention to it. Just ignore it. Pay attention to the real thing, to the good thing we have inside. The inner voice that telling us, come, chant Hare Krishna, read these books, practice a nice spiritual life. You will feel better. Try it. Nothing to lose, all to win. And you will see the change in your heart. You will become peaceful and happy and spiritual. Too much materialism nowadays everywhere. Everywhere. People are too much engrossed in mundane activities, trying to squeeze the juice out of the body to get some pleasure. But if the body, young, beautiful body, men or women look nice, but if there is surgery, they open up, it's very ugly inside, isn't it? So this body are an illusion. We are believing we are something we are not. It's a big illusion. We are being cheated, actually, by this material energy. Because we don't belong to the material energy, we belong to the spiritual energy. Because we are spiritual beings. We're just a little confused right now about our real identity. So the first thing, we need to know who I am. Really who I am. Many people say, love yourself. That's very nice. But first you have to know who are you? Who's the real self? Then you can really love yourself. But people think the self is the body and the mind. And we are not the body nor the mind. Even a child, when they speak, oh, my knee hurts, or oh, my head is itching. But nobody say I am hand, I am leg. It's my. There is a subject and subject, object and subject. The subject is the observer. We are observing what's happening around us, what's happening in our body. We are the observer. And what is being observed is different from us. We are observing matter, but we are the observer, the soul. And when we become spiritually awake, enlightened, then we can see all around all the spiritual sparks. We don't see just material bodies, men or women. We see every body is a spiritual spark, part of the supreme fire, Krishna. So there is oneness in the sense, His fire, we are a spark, the same elements. Heat and light is there, a minute quantity, of course. We are not never the same, as the supreme fire. But if we come closer to it, we always will be full of light and heat. We'll be jumping, dancing in the fire of eternal bliss. Everybody wants that, to experience happiness, to experience bliss. But most people don't know where is the real happiness and bliss. They think it is in the drug and the sex and the alcohol and this and that. I go in the morning walking, I see so many surfers in the cold water. They're waiting for the wave, thinking I'm going to be happy if I ride a wave. I could call them sufferers. Instead of surfers, sufferers. They're suffering, they're waiting for the wave. The dolphin is happier than them. He can jump all the time he wants. Trying to imitate the aquatic is not a good idea. Once I saw a TV interview. They were interviewing people on the street. They will ask them, do you believe in reincarnation? Some of people, many of them say yes. Oh, what would you like to be next life? One will say, oh, I want to be a wild horse running in the open, forest like that. Oh, I want to be an eagle flying up the skies. I want to be a dolphin jumping in the water, swimming. People don't know. They think to be an animal is a good thing. It's a bad thing. We love animals. That's why we don't eat them, first of all, to start with, But an animal doesn't have the conscience that humans we have, to ask ourselves the real questions. Why I'm suffering in this world? Who I am? What is the purpose of life? What is going to happen after death? Does God exist? What relationship I have with Him? These are the kind of questions humans can do that animals can't. Animals only can ask about where is the food. Early in the morning you see the birds, asking questions to each other. Where is the food? the children asking the bird mother, where is the food? I'm coming with the food. And the radio, people asking questions about the economy, about politics, about this, about oil, this, that, war. So many questions. But the most important question nobody's asking. What is the purpose of life? Who I am? So these are the important questions we have to ask ourselves. So this Krishna consciousness philosophy movement is to help everyone to understand the spiritual truth of all beings. That's the real oneness, to know each other as part of something higher, something sublime, spiritual, pure. So this chanting helps us clean the heart, and by cleaning the heart, gradually all nice, beautiful sentiments, spiritual well-being will come naturally. It's a fact. It's not an imagination. So, I would like to hear from you and your thoughts. Any of you is coming for the first time? Second or third, maybe? Second or third? The second time. So you like the first time?
I love it.
Oh, guys. Please keep coming. And you? First time. What's your name? Bethlehem. Very nice. Welcome, Bethlehem. Thank you for visiting us. But you were chanting like somebody who knew all the. You knew about the mantra Hare Krishna. Wonderful. How do you know about it? Very nice. Welcome. You found your place. Welcome home. Okay. Very nice.
So we'll take some questions, comments right now. Would anybody like to share anything?
Yeah, share your thoughts. Yeah.
I just want him to hear your rationale for why we shouldn't eat meat.
All right. What's your name? Can you please tell us your name?
My name, Lesia.
Huh?
I'm a vegetarian, but like my friend needs to hear about why we
That's
should
okay.
eat less
Let
meat.
him take his time. Think about it. It's your welcome for first time visiting us. Thank you for coming. We have to be open-minded, to learn more things about spirituality, And this is a culture. It's not a religion. It's a spiritual culture, very ancient, 5,000 years old. It's nothing new, So how do you become vegetarian?
Me?
Yeah. Why? Why you became vegetarian?
Oh.
Since nobody asking a question, I'm gonna ask the question now. No.
Oh my God! You actually. Okay. Wow.
Well, if you
I
want
to put my
to.
friend on the spot, and I'm getting put on the spot myself. Karma, Cool. Okay, you actually want to hear my story of how I became vegetarian. It was in 2013. I went to this lecture of like world religions, and these girls were talking about becoming a vegetarian. And up until then, I ate like so much meat. Like I could not imagine my life without meat. Like I loved meat so much. And then like these girls were talking about how there's like a lot of like really great spiritual reasons from world religions of like why we shouldn't eat meat. And they were saying how they in the past could not imagine themselves not eating meat, that like they love meat, but like after they became vegetarian, like they don't really crave it, like their body just physically does not crave it, how like they don't get as hangry as they used to, and how like when you're eating an animal, like you eat the stress of the animal. And like I just remember like feeling so inspired by that lecture, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I should try this sometime. And I did, and I've kind of been on and off, but like like in the last few years, like I've really trying to like be like as strict as possible. But that's kind of like what planted the seed in 2013 for me. Well, it's like just I guess like hearing somebody my age who wasn't just like, oh yeah, I've been a vegetarian for 50 years, like that's just not as relatable. But like just hearing someone of my age.
How long you been vegetarian?
Since 2013, so 9 years.
Very nice.
Yeah. But yeah, and then just like them actually saying like I used to love meat, I used to not imagine my life without meat, and then like now it's like there's no going back. Now it's so great. So yeah, like that's what planted the seed. But I mean, like there's so many other reasons. Like there's environmental reasons. Like I've learned, I feel like so much since then. Like the reasons really just kept coming. Like there's so many incredible reasons. But that was kind of like the first thing that like really got me thinking about it for the first time in my life. And I was 19 back then, so. Yeah.
Very good. Very good decision.
Thank you.
Yeah, please.
Hare Krishna. I am biologist, and there are research papers which says that the red meat is not good for health. So there is one more reason not to eat red meat and the meat.
It's so funny. My friend is a biologist too.
Okay. Also, there is another thing. As far as I know, what do you call there is one society, health. The health. What is the name of the health society? World Health Organization. Some years ago, they said that eating meat can create cancer the same as smoking cigarette. And they have scientific proof of it. So it's a fact that is not good for health, that's for sure. Especially for the health of the animal being killed. Finished, no more health for him. The problem is people who eat meat, they don't see the relation that the meat they're eating, an animal has to suffer and die just to satisfy their palate. So that's it's just something like very much ingrained in the people's habits, because we learned this from childhood, with family, everybody eat meats. But it's something, decision, it's a personal decision everybody, has to consciously take, in the sense that I don't want to be part of the suffering of other living being, I don't want to cooperate with that suffering. So by abstaining eating meat is not only good for your own health, but also you are not collaborating with others living beings suffering. And that's civilized. That's real civilized way of thinking, that I don't want to be part of harming any creature, an animal or a plant or a human, whoever. Don't want to take part of that. So when people do that, they don't know, but they're getting bad karma, by doing that, because they're helping the suffering and the killing of innocent creatures. So that creates bad karma. Bad karma. My guru used to say that all wars in the world are due to the slaughterhouses, because they're killing millions of animals every day. How do you expect human beings will live in peace if they don't allow poor animals live in peace? So this is a law of karma, action, reaction. Everything you do will come back to you. And that's a fact, Some people, like you said, oh, I love meat, tastes good. And they don't think that it's not about the taste of, I understand what I mean? It's this question of understanding what I'm doing. Do you know how Paul McCartney became vegetarian? He tells the story. He was with his wife in his. He had a house out of the city, and they were watching there. They had in their yard. They have what they call sheep. Hmm? No. I'm thinking the animal, the sheep. Sheep, isn't? How do you pronounce the name? Sheep. 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 It may sound like a sheep in the ocean or something. English is a tricky language. It's not my mother language, by the way. But anyway, the idea is they were having fun watching them, playing around, running around, and suddenly the cook came and they asked him, "What do we have today for lunch?" He said, "Oh, we have what do you call barbecue of sheep." Say, what? They were looking at them playing, having fun, and suddenly they're gonna eat them. They look at each other. Something wrong is here. They like something thick, Ping. They say, no, this is wrong, Of course, they hear the Hare Krishna saying that it's not good before, because they met Prabhupada, they met the devotees, of course. And the one who really became devotee was George Harrison. He took it to heart, the chanting of Hare Krishna and the practice of it. So yes, it's a contradiction. To be spiritual, to be close to God, at the same time harming other living beings is contradictory. Doesn't go along, And that's the problem I see in all religion. They don't think this is something important, not to kill animals. They don't think it's important. They think only humans are important, animals not important. And that's wrong. Everybody's important. Who are we to take the life of another living being? It's not an all right. I mean, the tigers, they eat meat. They can eat even human. There's nothing wrong with that. But because they will never see them eating fruit salad and, and rice and beans. No, that's not their food. They will never take your food. But humans are not made for that. Because, industrialization and all this, refrigeration, they can put the meat for weeks in the fridge and put a lot of chemicals in it so it will not become, look like green or gray or something. It's all an illusion. It's all fake. It's not real, Here in America, many years ago, when vegetarianism started to become popular, the meat industry became a little worried, so they decided to do something about it, So they start to make propaganda on TV about the goodness of eating meat. So one actor and one actress, they will come out speaking, "Oh, eating meat is great," and this and that, it's American, the American thing, all these things, And then all their propaganda went downhill, because the actor got colon cancer, and that usually comes from meat eating. And the actress, they found out in an old magazine that she was vegetarian. So they interviewed her. "Are you still vegetarian?" "Yes." "So why do you was doing propaganda for eating meat?" "Because they paid me very well." "But I don't like meat." So all the thing went choop. Didn't have success. It's cheating, actually, cheating the people, making them believe if you don't eat, you will get weak or will get anemia or so many nonsense things. All lies. All lies. We're being lied to. Listen?
Perhaps we can just take one more before we serve the dinner.
Please do.
Like
Okay. Two. Here, please. Yes.
Thank you. Kind of a question that I've been thinking about is I'm probably mispronouncing it, but I believe it's prasadam or sadam.
Yeah, no, you pronounced it correct. Prasadam,
okay.
Yes.
Awesome. I was just sort of wondering, what is sort of the spiritual significance of doing that and kind of going through that process before you eat?
Very good question. Thank you. It's not enough just to be vegetarian. No. It's good, but it's not enough. Because vegetables also have life. No? Sometimes, people eat meat, they say, "Oh, you're eating vegetables, they also have life." I said, yes, you're right. But it's not enough just to be vegetarian. We have to acknowledge that God, Krishna, is the owner of all the creation, all the universe. And he says in the Bhagavad Gita, if you offer me with love a fruit, a vegetable, water, a flower like that, I will accept it. So the idea is not just to be vegetarian, pigeons are also vegetarian, and the bulls and cows are vegetarian, and they are very strong animals, The gorilla is vegetarian, you see, very strong. Elephant is vegetarian, it's very strong. It's not so. Where do you get the protein from? Isn't? So we offer the food with love, the vegetarian food. We offer it to God, with Krishna, with love, and then becomes prasada. Prasada means mercy. That he accepts the food and becomes spiritual, the food, because it was offered with love to God. We call it prasad, the mercy of the Lord. So it becomes spiritual. The vegetables, the life and vegetables, they get the spiritual benefit of being offered. So we are not doing we are practicing ahimsa, non-violence. You're welcome. Yes. Two more. There is
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank
Hare
you so
Krishna.
much for kirtan and the nice talk. I'm just kind of referencing back to what you had mentioned of like, how can we expect to have peace here as humans if like we can't even let the animals live in peace amongst each other? You mentioned like war, and it's kind of a karmic thing. Is karma just a individual like experience, or is there like collective karma, and
both.
like we all end up
Yes.
going through that karma,
Yes.
even if we didn't ourselves do it, but
Yeah.
collectively as humans?
Yeah, I understand your question. Very
Okay.
good question. She's asking if there is collective karma also, not just individual karma. Both are there. Individual karma is there, and collective karma also is there. If you're living in a place and bad things, people are doing, some reaction will come. Since you are living there, you also will get some bad karma there, but less than others because you are not directly involved in that bad activity. So you will get much less. But there is collective karma, of course. That's true. That's fact. The lady here wanted to ask a question, isn't it? No, next, the one behind you. I saw you raise your hand. Okay.
Well, is it okay if I make a comment
Please do,
about
yes. Yeah, yes.
prasadam?
Sure.
So I know somebody who came here on a Thursday night, and she was having her heart monitored. And when the doctor looked at her heart monitor, he said, "What were you doing on Thursday night?" Because she had had her heart monitor on for a few days.
Yes.
And she was here chanting, and so it was stimulating her heart to chant. And so after a while and thinking about that and reading something in the Bhagavad Gita that God talks to us through our mind, our heart, and our stomach, I kind of realized when we come here, we chant, which puts Krishna in our heart. Then we hear wisdom, which puts Krishna in our mind. And then we take prasadam, which puts Krishna in our stomach.
Very nice realization. Very good, thank you. Very good. Thank you for sharing. So this girl felt better after chanting and eating prasad. Did she feel?
We have slowed down her heart.
Really? Yeah, just see. Even health got better by chanting and tasting the prasad, the food, spiritual food. So that's its benefit, spiritual and material also, both. So it's a fact, it's very good for your health, mentally and spiritually and physically too. So keep doing it. Please keep coming. Thank you, everyone.
Applause.